Welcome to our Azure Learning YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to discuss about facts and myths in the Azure cloud. Okay, so because um, in the real time, lot of myths are running in our surroundings. So that we're gonna bust today. So let's get started. First myth: cloud is not secure, like that. People's are telling. But recently, what happened is there is a financial company, so they just hesitated to move their things into Azure. Okay, just for the security concern. Okay, but actually the thing is, Azure had many things like security related things like Azure Security Centers and Azure Sentinel Service, and then Microsoft Defender. These all they had. Okay, so these features are literally enhancing the security and also uh, which improved the security, and also uh, it ensures the data availability as well. Mm? And then cloud is expensive, like that people are telling. But literally Azure offers a pay-as-you-go model. For example, we can say there is a startup company. So they're supposed to keep their infrastructure in Azure. Okay. So in this cases, we can go with on demand. Okay. So if startup company in the sense, they don't have a huge investment. So they can easily take the Azure with the on demand options like, VM creation, and also spot instance, they can create it for their test cases. Okay. Based on their consumption, they're gonna pay it. If they are expecting the high availability, obviously they can enable the auto scaling based on the threshold value. It would do the scale up and scale down for them. Okay, so reserved instance is there, and then virtual machine scale set also there. Okay, and then on premises is always faster than cloud. Okay, so this is the myth. So here, an e-commerce company, okay, there is an e-commerce site, suddenly, getting slower because due to, huge request comes to that application. So that they're taking more time to process all the request. So that site is becomes down. Okay, CPU utilization becomes above 90. So in this case, if we are using Azure, there we have the concept called CDN, Content Delivery Network. Your customers can be in any location. It would create an edge location for them. Okay, so whatever the request which gonna comes from our client, sorry, our customers, which would goes to the edge location. Okay, not to the actual primary server. Okay, so this we can use. And if you are expecting more high availability, load balancer is there. Okay, you can keep your application, into multiple VMs or servers. And then you can manage the routing centrally with the load balancer. Okay. In addition to that, more high availability factors are there to tackle this scenario. Okay. And then myth number 4. Okay, cloud migration is difficult and risky. Okay, that's what the people thought. But literally, this migration is very easy here. Okay, recently there is a healthcare company. Okay, so they keep they have their data into the on-prem SQL server. Okay, that size is around 500 TB. Okay, so what they did is they simply moved into Azure using Azure migration service. Okay, they moved their data into SQL using that Azure migration service. It's very easy only. Okay, migration is not a big deal. Cloud to cloud migration, on-prem to cloud migration, it's literally a difficult. It's literally a easy one. Okay, not a difficult one. And then with the zero downtime. Okay, so that's the beauty here. And then myth number 5. Once you move to Azure, you literally lose your controls over the data. Okay. Here we can say a legal firm uses the Azure Key Vault, and then they are using uh, for the confidential computing, which is just to uh, you know only authorized employees can access the sensitive data or not. Okay, so sensitive data is only could accessible by the authorized employees. Okay, that we can ensure with these services. Okay, so RBAC, encryption, hybrid solutions are there to tackle this scenario. Okay, and then myth number 6. Azure is only for large enterprises. Okay, that's what they know they're telling. Even if you are a startup company, you can also use this that we have discussed just before. See, let's take an example. So there is a site. So in that site, um, we can consider it's an e-learning site. Okay, it's an e-learning site that uses Azure app service. Okay. In addition to that, in that e-learning site, they are providing some codes recordings in via that e-learning site. Okay. So in Azure, they can use Azure app services, and also uh, the beauty is we can do the scale up and scale down at any time. Okay, that's the interesting stuff. In addition to that, we can integrate Azure functions as well. Okay, these functions would do the automation things for our use cases. Okay, so based on that, um, we can expose these applications to the real world. Okay, so you can have a small application or huge application or mid-level application or a microservices application. You can deploy any applications into here. Okay, it's not only for large enterprises, small cap company, medium cap company, large cap company. Any company can move their legacy system or latest things into Azure. Okay, which is quite easy literally. And then myth number 7, cloud downtime is frequent. That's what they're telling here. Okay, so here we can take a same e-commerce business. So they are using Azure Site Recovery. Azure Site Recovery in the sense primary resources would be in one particular region. Secondary resources would be in one particular region. If something happened to that primary region, it would the traffic manager would jump the request to the secondary region. Okay. For the high availability from high-end, um, you know, high-end organization would use this site recovery for their applications and things. Okay. In addition to that, globally, you can do this, DR with any regions. Okay. But generally, if you are doing a DR, um, suggestion is to do the DR with the regional pairs. Okay, but if you are doing with any other regions, that's not a regional pair in the sense, you will get error in some cases. Okay, if you are doing a region, if you are doing a DR, best thing is go with the regional pair, which is recommended in real time. Okay, and then cloud means there is no IT team like that. People are telling. See, I agree. Obviously, cloud reduces many of the work. IT teams are there. For example, there is a production company. So there are some employees are working. Okay, IT teams are working. Okay. But if they are jump into cloud, for an example, we can say Azure DevOps. Okay, Azure DevOps, it's a SaaS product. Okay, so there we can do the plan, build, test, pipelines, and then artifacts. Like we can do everything, whatever the things which you need to run the DevOps things, that all available in this one SaaS product. Okay. So if you are using this Azure DevOps, obviously, uh, initially these IT teams are managing the cloud infrastructure. Now also they're gonna map the cloud infrastructure via DevOps, like by enabling the CI/CD, by configuring the Terraform infrastructure. Okay, so obviously manual workload is obviously they reduced 60% of manual workload get reduced. But even though IT teams are needed here. Okay, so without IT team we couldn't troubleshoot that issue, we couldn't fix that issue. Okay, things are there, but uh, work is reduced obviously. Okay, and then cloud is only for hosting application. Actually, this is not a myth. This is the reality. Initially in Azure, initially, they just had a virtual machine server and then virtual machine service and then storage services initially. But later, year on year, they put more investment for the new innovations. So they improved many things inside. For an example, there is a logistic applications. Okay, logistic company we can take. So that company uses Azure IoT Hub. Okay, so using this IoT Hub, they can track the shipments, and then they improved the delivery accuracy, and then the customer satisfactions they are literally ensuring with this service. In addition to that, lot of improvements they did into the Azure services. Over the last year, they introduced some services called Azure Chaho Studio. Like a lot of things they are improved. Okay. And coming to the last myth, which is cloud data is at risk of being lost or deleted. Okay. So here the thing is, some users are there. They are using the same e-commerce platform they are using. Okay. Um, the law, they lost the data. Okay. Because of the accidental deletion which happened by the employees or something. Okay. So if they have their application into an Azure, they can easily, you know, get the deleted data from the backup service, Azure backup service. Okay, which is quite easy literally. DR setup also there. DR setup, it's high availability thing, which is RPO, recovery point objective, recovery time objective, which is literally based on that. This Azure backup, it's a scheduled one. Okay, scheduled backup. Daily evening, 8 p.m. it should take the backup. Weekend, uh, in non-business days, it should take the backup. Like we can set it. Okay, based on our rule, it would take the backup for us. Okay, so that we can easily find the respective data, and then we can, here literally we won't face the data loss here. If we are having an Azure in the sense, if we are having an on-prem resource, there we have the same application in the sense, we need to take care of everything. But in Azure, we can use this managed service. We can simply tackle the scenario in the left hand. Okay, guys, that's it in this video. I hope this video helps you well. Thank you all. And in the next video, I'll come up with the interesting topic. And then signing off, Ram. Bye-bye.